Ladies and gentlemen, dear experts, welcome to this COLA-ACP Training of Trainers course. This sequence is on creating training for adults. In this sequence, we're going to cover 3 points. 1. Distinguishing between goals and objectives. 2. Choosing a training method. And 3. Adapting to the context and the audience. Distinguishing between goals and objectives. As a reminder, training adults involves using a learning strategy to lead a group of adult volunteers from an initial situation to a final situation, an ideal to be reached, that is, a goal. What is a goal? Why formulate the goals of a training course? A goal expresses an expected result in the form of a specific activity that participants will be able to carry out at the end of the training. Examples for different types of training. At the end of the training course, participants will be able to drive a tractor under all circumstances. At the end of the training, participants will be able to calibrate their sprayer according to the size of the plot. At the end of the training, participants will be able to implement a traceability system that meets regulatory requirements. A goal signals the main orientation of a training course in the form of a result to be achieved in the medium term. This result can only be achieved after a relatively long learning period, several days, a week, a month. The goal is the pinnacle of the results targeted by the training. What change, what modification, what transformation in the learner is targeted? In other words, what would be the ideal situation if my training was 100% successful? The trainer should specify what participants are expected to achieve in practice at the end of the training. This is not a question of specifying what the participants are going to be doing during the training. Learn the traffic rules, calculate an area, understand the regulations, etc. How to formulate a goal? Trainers must formulate a goal from the point of view of the participants. At the end of the training, what additional specific skill will they have to put into practice in the field? Generally speaking, a goal is formulated as follows. At the end of the course, participants will be able to, for each training course, it is therefore necessary to specify the time limit, within 3 days, a month, to specify the type of participants, technicians, agents, workers, specify the target capability, what they'll be capable of. On the basis of the aims, the trainer's challenge is then to structure his or her teaching system to lead adults towards a final situation, towards mastering new skills. Learning objectives. In addition to goals of the training, trainers must also define learning objectives. The learning objectives correspond to an operational breakdown of goals. What are the concrete steps that participants must go through in order to learn and achieve the goals of the training? How to formulate learning objectives? Formulating learning objectives means specifying competencies to be acquired by the participants in order to achieve the intended goal by identifying the following elements. What knowledge will they need to acquire? What skills will they have to master? What behaviors or attitudes will they need to demonstrate? What knowledge will they need to acquire? The objectives here center on the acquisition of new knowledge. The role of the trainer focuses on the contribution of knowledge, the presentation of clear and structured content to ensure its memorization and understanding. Examples: identify hazards when operating a tractor. Explain the coding of product information in the form of a barcode. What skills will they have to master? The objectives here center on the acquisition of technical know-how and practice. The trainer proposes role-playing, presents how-to guides, breaks down the process to make it understandable, assists, recommends, through demonstrations, simulations, practical exercises, group work, etc. The focus is mainly on application, knowing how to use, how to implement, or adaptation, knowing how to solve a new problem. Examples: properly operate a tractor in the field with or without towing equipment. Adapt the use of the barcode in the context, in the field, and in the parking station. What attitudes and behaviors should they adopt? These objectives aim to make learners aware of the effects of their behavior, that is, the part of their activity manifested to observers, on others, or on a group. Through role-playing, simulations, the use of audiovisual aids, etc., the aim is to enable and encourage the analysis of a situation, individually or in a group. Examples: choose the right track with a tractor depending on the soil characteristics. Explain to technicians about the use of barcodes in context, in the field, and in the parking station. Usefulness of learning objectives. For participants, the goals and learning objectives allow participants to understand where the trainer wishes to take them. Be reassured that they are on the right path. Assess their mastery of the learning. Usefulness of learning objectives. For trainers, the goals and learning objectives allow trainers to choose the teaching method, particularly contents and teaching techniques that seem most suitable. Check consistency between the means used, that is, the teaching system put in place, and the results sought. Evaluate the learning and measure its effects, intended and unintended. Choosing a training method. The training method corresponds to all the means implemented to achieve the aims and learning objectives. The means concern both the techniques used, presentations, group work, case studies, etc., and the tools, paper, visual, audio, etc. When choosing a method, in adult education, we recommend the use of an inductive method as opposed to a deductive one, a participatory method as opposed to a passive one. Inductive and deductive methods are characterized as follows. Under inductive, starting from the known and moving to the unknown, going from the particular to the general, starting from the concrete and moving towards the abstract, using teaching methods focusing on discovery. Under deductive, starting from the unknown and moving to the known, going from the general to the particular, starting from the abstract and moving towards the concrete, using teaching methods focusing on presentation. A participatory method differs from a passive method as follows. Under participatory, participants learn by doing. They come into contact with the object of knowledge. Participants learn by sharing their knowledge and experience with each other and with the trainer. They use more of the inductive approach. Trainers facilitate the participants engaging with the approach. They are invited to take initiative, to bring new ideas to the process. The relationship between the participants and the trainer is a collaborative one. Under passive, individuals listen, repeat, and remember. They are students who follow a path traced by the trainer or teacher. Trainers present their knowledge. They do not necessarily draw on the experience of students who do not necessarily have to react. They use more of the deductive approach. Individuals are not necessarily called on to contribute and participate. They are dependent on the experts who control the training process. The relationship between the trainer and participants is based on authority. In conclusion, use deductive methods. Participants should perceive the activities proposed by the trainer as a means of solving a problem, either a problem posed by the participants themselves or one posed by the trainer and is considered relevant by participants. Prepare activities. Using participatory methods requires great care in the choice of learning situations, which must be relevant to participants. Adapting to the context and the audience. Importantly, training activities must always be informed by preparation that includes prior analysis of the context and target audience. Seen from the point of view of the end users of training, a quality training activity is followed at the right time by a person who is really concerned and in which they have found both answers to their needs and the working methods that enable them to learn useful things effectively. In their preliminary analysis of the training to be set up, trainers must therefore address the following questions. Context. What is the problem to be solved? How does it manifest itself? What will be the new situation of the participants? What are the desired outcomes for them? What are the expected effects of this training on the participants, on their organization? Who defines these effects? What is the commitment of those in charge regarding follow-up to this training? Target audience. Who are the participants? How many are there? What are their main characteristics, particularly professional ones? What are their motivations? Have they chosen to participate? Within what time frame should they implement their new skills? What training information do they have?